Thank you, Mr. President. Let me too also thank all of the staff involved in preparing, these extremely long resolutions and documents and over many, many weeks and committee hearings. I know it's not easy, so thank you very, very much. Uh, Also appreciate my colleagues and all the work that has gone into this. This has been a enlightening process for me. It's been a difficult process in many ways, both just to the point of time and taxing, but also, uh, you know, just kind of what our theory is of where we need to go and what we need to do. Um, I think that though we were able to add some significant things here, and I appreciate Councilmember Reamer's shout out there. I did engage fully in this, and although I didn't agree with every decision, we were able to get some things done. I do think eliminating the moratorium is the right thing to do. I think that we were able to treat all parts of the county relatively equally, but recognizing with the calculations under the turnover and infill that turnover areas do produce more students. I think we'll adjust those numbers to reflect that. I'm glad I was able to make some tweaks on the edges and appreciate the support of my colleagues to support a tax credit or a discount rather to try to produce more 3-bedroom housing in our denser infill areas. So I'm hopeful to see how that will play out. On balance, though, I think this misses the mark overall. I don't think that what we've done here overall, all these packages and the bills we'll consider later, is dramatically lower fees and taxes and waive things in kind of 100% fashion that I don't think is going to lead to any more housing, certainly not any more affordable housing, than was already going to be built in some of these areas. And I that bothers me because I think we need to look at the overall approach to our growth in housing in a much more holistic way and not that simplistic way. And so while I am going to support the overall package on balance, I think we need to come back to these issues. This is not, some of these incentives that we're giving out in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of unanswered questions about where we're going to backfill much needed revenue for our schools and that are overcrowded and for our transportation infrastructure. I'm remain extremely, extremely concerned about. And we also don't have a lack of controls. One thing I've realized through this process over the last several months is that much of our policy is kind of a wish and a prayer and with taxpayer money. And we hope things will happen. We say, please do stuff and go ahead. And it's kind of a almost, in my view, a trickle down approach of, we're going to just give this full carte blanche and we hope that things happen over time. And I think we have to have much better controls and understanding about what is and is not happening before we do that with precious, precious resources. Certainly we need to grow our economy. Certainly we need to have more housing. But I just don't think that this policy on balance is going to do anything extra that was not already going to be done. We're reducing the fees. We've removed the moratorium, and we have very limited direction about what we want out of it. My discount, for example, for the 3-bedroom was one of the rare examples in this policy where we said, we're going to give you a discount to get something specifically back. And it may or may not work, but at least we know you get it if you produce this. And with much of this policy, we're just saying, here, take it and do what you want. And we hope that it happens. And it wasn't very targeted. And there's not a lot of controls. And so I think, I'm going to be hopefully, working in the coming months to try to build some of those controls and checks in so that we can get what we want in an equitable way. And I'm concerned about that. Obviously, we still need to get the revenue for the school system and for transportation infrastructure, but we also need to if we're going to have incentives, if we're going to reduce impact fees and the like, we should get what we want. And I don't think this guarantees that we will. I hope we do. And again, I'm going to vote for it, and I hope that we do. But I don't think that hope is a strategy. And so I think we need to think about this much, much more going forward and make sure that we're guarding and protecting much, much needed revenue at this very important time. So I appreciate the work that's been done, and I yield back, Mr. President.